Come on in, we're going to start. Oh. Come and find a seat. Good morning, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Greater Naples. I am Janet Hoffman. I'm the worship associate for today. And it is a joy to have all of you here, whether you're here in the sanctuary, out on the pavilion, or through electronic means. Whether you have come here feeling hopeful or despairing, you are all welcome here. I do want to give a special shout out for any of you that are new or have only come for a few times. If you would please raise your hand so we can see who you are. Wonderful to have you, and we hope that we can meet your needs and help you find ways to connect with us. And just a reminder that there is coffee and conversation after the service and after our congregational meeting out on the pavilion, and we hope everyone will join us there. We are a congregation of many backgrounds and many beliefs. Together, we strive to show our values of generosity, justice, and equity. Love is at the center of our values and is the power that holds us together. Today, we are continuing our 50th anniversary celebration by having a very special guest minister. We are honored to have our very first full-time minister, Reverend J. Abernathy, today. Yes. He was our minister from 1986 to 1999. He started with 70 members in the domes, the two structures, and went to 150 members with this new sanctuary being built. He has often been recognized for his sermons and his social justice involvement. Also, a part of our celebration will include today a time when our time capsule will be presented by Brantley Basono Moore. And now, time for some announcements. There will be a special congregational meeting after the service. It will be very short, so we ask you to just stay in your seats. There is a Zoom link that was sent out by email this morning for any of you watching electronically. Fundraising for our weekend meal program will continue today. The bus to the Everglades Detention Center Vigil leaves sharply at 2 p.m. right outside our front doors. If you'd like to register, go to freedomvigils.org. This afternoon at 4, there is an annual Interfaith Pride service that will take place at Temple Shalom on Pine Ridge Road. And after our congregational meeting, there is a free Earth Day clothing and accessory swap in Thomas Hall, and anyone, whether you brought anything or not, is welcome to take whatever you want for free. So now, let's take a deep breath and center ourselves for this time together by listening to the prelude. Thank you, pretty. This is a congregation that gathers in faith, not faith in one religion or one God or any one way. We gather in the faith of the power of diversity, the power of love, and the hope of a world transformed by our care. We gather in faith in ourselves and those around us. Not a faith that requires perfection or rightness in one another. Rather, a faith that is our shared imperfection, that we may learn to stumble and fall together. Faith that we will all help one another to rise and to try again and again. We are Unitarian Universalists. And now, if you will join me with the chalice lighting for a response to those who throughout time and across cultures have brought us to a richer, deeper sensitivity to the world about us, to the love between us, to the hope within us. May we ever kindle the flame of love and hope throughout the world. Okay, let us rise in body or spirit to sing hymn number 1 in the gray hymnal, May Nothing Evil, and the words will also be on the screen.
Till every casual corner blue This morning, the time capsule to celebrate the 50th anniversary of UUCGN has been presented for all the congregation to see. The box is handcrafted and is about 20 years old. It will be housed in the minister's office and brought out for display for special events and services. Because we are a committee-based congregation, each committee was asked to list its members and answer 3 questions. 1, what successes has your committee had? 2, what obstacles has your committee confronted? And 3, how do you see your committee in 10 years? The time capsule also contains photographs, a chalice, personal reflections, the Naples Press article about our anniversary, and a copy of the filmed sing-along music service held this past winter for MLK Day. When the time capsule is opened in 10 years, it will be exciting to see what changes, great and small, have occurred within these walls and in the larger community. Will we have spread our values? Will we be a larger, more diverse congregation? Will we have achieved all that we had hoped? And what new challenges will await us?
On your behalf, I accept this time capsule, and we'll give it a good place in my office. And thank you all for being here this morning, and Owen for being the driver, and Amelia for being whatever. I don't know what that is, but and thank you for being here. And time to head out.
As our children leave for their activities, let's stay seated and sing together our centering hymn. It's 355 in the gray hymnal. We lift our hearts in thanks, and the words will also be on the screen. The sharing of our joys and sorrows is one way that we hold one another in community, an opportunity for us to support each other on our life's journeys. It is a time to share what is in your heart, which may include a significant life passage or event, or it could be what we are grateful for. Please raise your hand if you would like to speak, and I will bring the microphone to you. Please say your name and hold the mic close to your mouth.
Good morning. I'm Ellen Hemrick. I am a little hoarse. I just wanted to say a really great big thank you to everyone who came to Pride Fest yesterday. We had a very low turnout. Our security fees are $50,000. This is where we try to get our profits to keep the center open. The center is where we literally save lives. So thank you to everybody who was there. It was a wonderful, joyful celebration. A big shout out to Seamus. I don't know if he's here. He was my right-hand man yesterday. But thank you for all the support for Naples Pride from this congregation.
Hello, I'm Joanne Womack, and I just wanted to share that last weekend, my family and I drove up to Sefner, which is a small town outside of Tampa. I had a great-great-grandfather who donated this land many years ago for a cemetery. It's our family cemetery. And we went there with a stone that the Air Force had made for John with his name. There's even a symbol of the Unity Church on that stone and other words, and it's placed on his gravesite with his ashes inside a box. And so that is now complete. He passed away in August. And so I'm feeling really finished now that that part of his life is done. But of course, his spirit always remains. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you.
I am Bill Haubrick from Hospitality. Because of the humidity and the position of the sun, we've moved all the treats. There's a separate table. We have a lot of food today. So when you exit, it'll be on your immediate left. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Joe DiVincenzi with the Green Sanctuary Committee, and I just want to thank everyone who over the last week has brought in their very, very beautiful recyclable clothes. And we hope in honor of Earth Day this coming Wednesday that you'll all come and look at the beautiful recycled clothes that are free.
Good morning, I'm Beth. A few weeks ago, I shared that I recently lost my dog, and I thought I was going to remain dog-free, but alas. We are now fostering a dog, and in this journey I realized how many dogs are out there that could benefit from fostering and how much joy it's bringing me. It's been a really dark week in the news, and she has provided some light. So anybody that might have a space in their heart to foster a dog, there are a lot out there that need a temporary home.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Lisa Nickerson. A joy and a sorrow. First, with the joy. I've been honored to be part of the Strategic Planning Task Force for the last almost year. And the welcoming that I've received and the good work that our committee has done has just really warmed my heart and made me feel like a real part of this community. So thank you for that. Secondly, my dear friend Maria lost her mother at 4 a.m. this morning. And Maria and I go back to high school. Her whole family emigrated from Taiwan when Maria was 8 years old. And she was the only Asian student in my high school. And I'm honored that she became one of my best friends. And I hope that she and her family get to honor her mother in the tradition of their faith from their home country. So thank you.
Hi, I'm Susie Riddle, and I have joys. One is Angel's here with me today, and we are so excited about the clothing exchange and everything, and we were late because we were getting stuff together. But I have two other joys. Good Friday, I met this whole family at Costco because we sat and shared table to have lunch, and they invited me for Easter Sunday. Now, how often do you exchange info with people and nothing happens? I almost fell off the bench. And then I went and it was great, and this is the really joyful part. The mom is an identical twin. The dad is a fraternal twin with a sister. And then yesterday, I met one of my neighbors across the street, and he's an identical twin. And he's a recent widow, so he gets the whole thing about big loss. So I feel really, really happy that I'm not just making some acquaintances, I'm making some new friends. So that's a big joy for me.
Yes.
I'm Eleanor Richardson, and I want to express a special joy today to see Jay Abernathy here. My parents joined this church sort of, Easter and Christmas and stuff. When they first came to Naples, Dad wasn't that interested in church, so my mother held back, wanting to spend valuable time with him. But when he died in 1993, I picked up the phone and called Jay, and I said, I think my mother needs a little more involvement with the church. And he went right over and sat down with her and talked to her, and she was deeply involved for the rest of her life.
Hi, I just wanted to say a thank you and a sort of celebration of it's the end of choir season, and I wanted to thank all of these people for being an amazing group of people to work with. Yeah, they really are amazing to work with, and it's a great subgroup of this church. Here you go.
Thank you, yes.
Thank you. Good morning, I'm Diane Keys. I just want to say thank you to Omar Vincent. This past week, we volunteered at pickleball from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. every day. So we did over, between us, 300 hours of volunteering. We had some of our students come out to volunteer. We had kids from Trinity Life Foundation and those kids who have received citations. So they came to volunteer. And one of the students said to me that he was sad because his mom chose drugs over him. And I had to talk to him about love because I felt it within my heart that he would feel so disappointed as a young man because of what has happened to him. So sometimes these kids get in trouble because of what's going on in their lives. So we should do more. Thank you.
Thank you. May we hold what has been spoken and what has been left unspoken in our hearts and in the warmth of this community.
Who knows? I want to preface the prayer with a brief statement. Last Sunday night, I got a short Vesper service at Friends Homes, which is the Quaker retirement community where Eileen and I live. And in that service, I changed my sermon and replaced it with a few words about war. The Baptist minister, who is my friend there, had spoken the week before when the bombing was still very great and didn't mention it, not even in the prayer. The nice thing about being in a Quaker home, if you give a sermon against war, you pretty well got a lot of support and encouragement. It didn't take as much courage, I thought, as it maybe would have under other circumstances. And it reminded me of that fine old Unitarian curmudgeon, Ambrose Bierce, whom I hope some of you know. He wrote a book called The Devil's Dictionary, a book that defines peace this way. Peace in international affairs, a period of cheating between two periods of fighting. In 1964, the Unitarian Universalist General Assembly in Miami invited a black minister to speak, the first time a black minister had spoken to a white denominations gathering. You can probably guess who that black preacher was, and this line from Martin Luther King's sermon eerily foretells the words later of his obituary. Tell them I tried to feed the hungry. Tell them I tried to clothe the naked. Tell them I tried to help somebody. Join me in a period of quiet reflection with these spoken words. O God of unfinished business, let us be able to say when our day is done, I tried to feed the hungry, clothe the naked, help somebody. May our lives reach out beyond ourselves to embrace the entire human family, what King called the world house. Give us the humility to welcome our neighbors' insights and observations. Let us never forget the wonderful blessings of this land and our heritage. We have opportunities to give from our resources, even the poorest of us. May we share generously from our store of abundance, our education, our culture, our material resources, and our spiritual freedom. Let us be generous people, caring and considerate, hopeful and loving, even as we take care of and provide for our family, friends, and neighbors. I invite you to take a moment of quiet reflection. Amen.
We are singing, we
The Divine Image by William Blake. To mercy, pity, peace, and love, all pray in their distress, and to these virtues of delight return their thankfulness. For mercy, pity, peace, and love is God, our Father dear, and mercy, pity, peace, and love is man, his child, and care. For mercy has a human heart, pity a human face, and love the human form divine, and peace the human dress. Then every man of every clime that prays in his distress prays to the human form divine, love, mercy, pity, peace. And all must love the human form, in heathen, Turk, or Jew, where mercy, love, and pity dwell, there God is dwelling too.
I once tried to rewrite that poem for gender inclusiveness, but I had enough sense to quit after a very short period of time. This one, too, this is Percy Bysshe Shelley's romantic poem, Ozymandias. Let me just tell you, Ozymandias was the name given to the Egyptian pharaoh Ramesses II. From 1279 to 1213 BCE, he lived. And he was considered one of the worst tyrants among all the Egyptian pharaohs. Shelley was so impressed by seeing these bits and pieces of the statue of Ramses that he wrote this poem. It was inspired also in part by a book called The Ruins, a survey of the revolutions of empires by a French Count Chasseboeuf. So this is Percy Bysshe Shelley. 1818, in January it was written. I met a traveler from an antique land who said, "Two vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert. Near them on the sand half sunk, a shattered visage lies, whose frown and wrinkled lip and sneer of cold command tell that its sculptor well those passions read which yet survive, stamped on these lifeless things, the hand that mocked them and the heart that fed. And on the pedestal these words appear, my name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty, and despair." Always wanted to say that from the pulpit. Nothing beside remains. Round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare, the lone and level sands stretch far away. Well, I just loved that. Patty and Janet and a few others of you might remember when on our lucky days we had 6 in the choir. I have to tell you, the first Sunday I spoke, which I think was the 3rd Sunday in September of 1986, we were in the old domes. There were about 20 folks, and it was about 95 degrees. And I wore a jacket and tie. I always have. Some of us are not conservative so much as we are stuffy. My inspiration for today are a few words from Alexander Pope, one of my favorite poets. This was an early poem, Windsor Forest, 1713. Here, hills and vales, the woodland and the plain, here, earth and water seem to strive again, not chaos-like, together crushed and bruised, but as the world, harmoniously confused, where order in variety we see, and where, though all things differ, all agree. There are, after all, only 2 alternatives. Either someone wins and someone loses, or else, though all things differ, all agree. Those who just must win have no faith in creation or the ideal of God. This is a different definition of faith than most of you have heard, I suspect. For example, the letter to the Hebrews, which is what most people in our culture think of as the definition of faith, reads, the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. Perhaps you have never seen love, joy, peace, justice, mercy, and beauty. But I have, in the actions of all of my congregations over the 50 years, I forced them to suffer through my sermons. But maybe the author meant that faith is more about trust than it is about belief. Trust in creation, in our planet and its most cantankerous and dangerous residents, human beings. Humans seem to be doing their best to not contradict the notion that we are made in God's image. This was an absolutely essential part of early Unitarian life, that we were made in God's image. You remember the notes from the Bible. We are hearing so many contradictory views of that. Just listen to, Stephen Miller or Mike Hickseth. However, there are those who do have faith in creation. Just over 300 years ago, the poet already saw a world, not chaos-like, together crushed and bruised, but as the world, harmoniously confused, where order in variety we see tolerance. I love it. I have to admit, I almost chose harmoniously confused for my title, but I thought you'd figure that out anyway. One Sunday, I noticed 7-year-old Alex staring up at a large plaque in the foyer of a church I served. It was covered with names and small American flags. I walked up and stood by him and said quietly, "Good morning, Alex." He responded, "Good morning, Rev J." And he didn't turn his attention away from the plaque. "What's this?" he asked me. "Well, young man, it's a memorial to all the military men and women who have died in the service." Soberly, we stood together, staring at the plaque, and then he whispered, "Which one, the 9:30 or the 11 o'clock?" He'd been to too many of my services. Now, it takes some experience and wisdom for a person to have the faith to see order in variety, to see some overwhelming togetherness amidst all the individual differences that mark human life. This is a faith in the universe that is all of one piece, one universe for all of us. What the Genesis editors of the creation story called a very good creation. Mind you, they didn't say good, they said very good. But then again, they also didn't say awesome. And they definitely didn't say perfect. In such a world, faith accepts change as inevitable. Without change, after all, who needs faith? Today's changing world is not mostly about electronics or spaceships. It is mostly about the changes we see around us in the varying colors of our neighbor's skin and the lifestyle choices and cultural activities of people we encounter in the towns and cities where we live, of the exposure to the great number of opportunities that present themselves to us in our modern world. We are an integrated universe. Despite many gruesome examples to the contrary, Martin Luther King Jr. chose faith in this world and in humanity, faith that his dream would come true. His Boston University doctoral thesis featured several Boston Unitarian ministers, including Theodore Parker, whose home was the center of the Underground Railroad for New England, and William Ellery Channing. Channing's congregation included Harriet Beecher Stowe, the daughter of the fiery congregational minister and not at all pleased with Unitarians, Lyman Beecher. She credited Dr. Channing with inspiring her to write Uncle Tom's Cabin. The next quote is from Channing's 1830 sermon, Spiritual Freedom. I admit in the past 20 years I have turned to this reading more and more frequently. Even when preaching to Peace United Church of Christ, I find myself now preaching occasionally in UCC churches. They're quite liberal and open-minded and only sort of quiver when I come up. What you have to listen to in this sermon are the contrast, the differences that Channing gets over or includes. I do and must reverence human nature. Neither the sneers of a worldly skepticism nor the groans of a gloomy theology disturb my faith in its godlike powers and tendencies. I know how human nature is despised, how it has been oppressed, how civil and religious establishments have for ages conspired to crush it. I know its history. I shut my eyes on none of its weaknesses and crimes. I understand the proofs by which despotism demonstrates that man is a wild beast in want of a master and only safe in chains. But injured, trampled on, and scorned as our nature is, I still return to it with intense sympathy and strong hope. The signatures of its origin and its end are impressed too deeply to ever be effaced. I bless human nature for its kind affections, for its strong and tender love. I honor it for its struggles against oppression, for its growth and progress under the weight of so many chains and prejudices, for its achievements in science and art, and still more for its examples of heroic and saintly virtue. These are marks of a divine origin and the pledges of a celestial inheritance, and I thank God that my own lot is bound up with that of the human race. This is Channing's Hymn to Humanity, and it clearly states the typical 1830s Unitarian view that human beings were formed in the image of God. This characteristic distinguished Unitarians from other forms of Christianity more than all the other doctrinal disputes. It requires faith to believe that despite the chaos-like, together crushed and bruised humanity we encounter every day in our lives, that we experience in podcasts and newspapers and television, despite all these things, people remain worthy of dignity and respect. This is a faith in the universe as we know it and live it. It is a faith that allowed Dr. King to preach in spite of the difficulties and frustrations of the moment. I still have a dream. So we come back to the poet, where order in variety we see, and where, though all things differ, all agree. Next time I'm going to have to use bigger type when I print out my sermon. This is faith in a universal order, in a physical and spiritual universe, and the possibility of human love shared with all people, accepting even those whom the wonderful old original Church of England prayer book called all sorts and conditions of men. And I have met some serious sorts and conditions in 50 years of ministry. This is a radical tolerance, not some weak version demeaned by many progressive liberals. There is no other English word for this broad acceptance of all human beings engaged in many varied activities and with many different opinions. What our old principles and purposes call the inherent worth and dignity of every person. They should have put no exceptions in parentheses at the end. Not all examples of justice require the drama of civil rights. Most of us live our lives focused on family, friends, neighbors, and colleagues. This also requires faith, as any family gathering over a holiday dinner suggests. A wag once wrote, "If there was any justice in the world, people would be able to fly over pigeons for a change." You have to live in a big city to really appreciate the humor of that joke. Here are comments from two children, one from a fairly traditional church and one who must be attending a UU-RE program. At a church school, they were teaching the story of Eve, created from Adam's rib. Johnny was fascinated. Later in the week, his mother noticed he looked sick. "Johnny, what's the matter?" Little Johnny responded, "I have a pain in my side. I think I'm going to have a wife." I have a whole big paragraph I cut out of this as a comment on that. A kindergarten teacher was observing her students in an art class. She was walking around looking at each student's work, and she saw a little girl working so diligently on her drawing. She asked, "What was the drawing about?" The little girl, kindergarten girl, said, "I'm drawing God." The teacher paused and said, "But no one knows what God looks like." And the little girl, without a moment's hesitation, she said, "In a moment they will." We don't know what God looks like, and we probably don't particularly care, because what God looks like is all of us getting together and laughing, sharing a meal, and maintaining peace despite our many differences. Joe Pinturo, a modern poet, died just recently, wrote an alternative to a chaos-filled world that demands military power to eliminate everyone who disagrees with us. It's a neat little poem. He wrote, "I will raise the chickens and collect the eggs each morning if you will grow the pumpkins and bake me a pie. I will deliver eggs to all your friends if they will grow the grapes, raise the sheep, and plant the wheat. Then we will bring wheat and sheep, some grapes and pumpkin pie to a man with a boat. We will fill his cupboard while he gathers fish. Sundays we will all get together to love one another and watch our children dance." I suggest to you that here is a worthy goal for a more varied and diverse world. It is how we shall manage to live together, although we differ in our families, in our livelihoods, in our activities and events, and in our relationships. We will share our blessings, whatever they may be, as best we can, but equally as important, Sundays, we will get together to love one another and watch our children dance. I say to you, this is Unitarian worship. Gathering to love one another, to watch our children dance, and of course, as the poem suggests, eat. Surely this is religious faith, worthy of our worship and sacrifice, worthy of our efforts and our own time and place. We assemble not always on Sunday to love one another and watch our children dance, and perhaps join them on the floor. Thank you.
It is the time, imagination, compassion, and the financial support of members and friends of this congregation that fuels our mission to nurture and sustain a welcoming and inclusive religious community. Your generous contributions support our mission to grow intellectually and spiritually. Your financial support enables us to build greater peace, justice, and love in our congregation and in the world. For those online, a contribution can be mailed to the address on the screen or by using our website at uunaples.org or the QR code. We are truly grateful for all the gifts that are received, and our ushers may now come forward. Thank you.
Oh, freedom, oh, freedom, oh, freedom, freedom is coming. Oh, freedom, oh, freedom, oh, freedom, freedom is coming. Oh, freedom, oh, freedom, oh, freedom, freedom is coming. Oh, freedom, oh, freedom, oh, freedom, freedom is coming. Oh, yes, I know. Oh, yes, I know. Oh, yes, I know. Oh, yes, I know. Oh, yes, oh, yes, I know. Oh, yes, I know. Oh, yes, I know. Oh, yes, I know. Oh, yes. Oh, freedom. Freedom. Oh, freedom. Freedom. Oh, freedom. Freedom is coming. Oh, freedom.
That was lovely. And now I would like to thank Reverend J. Abernathy for his much-needed words and a chance for us to have deeper conversation with his sermon, and thank his family for coming down with him. I would also like to thank the 50th Anniversary Committee, Steve Espinoza, Cheryl Nunes, and the rest of the committee for a wonderful year with amazing events and activities. Thank you for listening to what we wanted and for coming up with your own ideas that were so inclusive. Thank you for listening so well, and especially for the open house that was just charming and marvelous. So please stay seated for our very short congressional meeting. We're going to sing so you don't fall asleep for the meeting. So please rise in body or spirit to sing hymn number 121, We'll Build a Land.
There we go. I think it's on now. Yep. Great. I have good news. This is going to be the shortest long congregational meeting in UUCGN history. It's appropriate for our 50th anniversary. I wanted to thank, among our visitors today is the Guinness Book of World Records Certification Committee, who's going to be here to validate the length of this ceremony. We're gathered really to consider and begin the voting process for the strategic plan. And just like the song we sang about, we'll build a land, we are building our land. So it's an important moment for us. To officially begin this meeting, I'll ask Madam Secretary, is there a quorum present?
There is a quorum present.
Thank you. And with that, our agenda today, did you get the slides, Dan? Not yet. There we go. Okay. Will be to present the strategic plan that the task force has been working on for the last 16 months. Lisa Nickerson will do that and bring it forward as a motion to begin the vote on the strategic plan. And with that, we will then have 2 days, essentially, to vote via SurveyMonkey to adopt it. The choices are to accept it, to reject it, or to abstain from it. We have found that SurveyMonkey has much higher participation among the broader congregation than in-person voting only. So we've selected to choose that matter so that there's a maximum voice. The voting will be held and open until Tuesday at 8 p.m. And with that, I want to recognize Lisa Nickerson from the Task Force Committee to present the presentation for you. Thanks.
Morning, everybody. I thought the time capsule was a very important emblem of what we're going to do today, and I think I would recommend that the strategic plan go into that time capsule and that we visit that in 10 years and see how successful we've been. So today, basically, we are, Dan, I think we have some additional slides. We are going to ask all of you to vote on the strategic plan first phase, which many of you have participated in and seen up until now. Nothing has changed since our last meeting in March. Basically, we have 3 goals, and then we have 9 principles or 9 priorities that we're going to pursue and turn over to the new board that is coming into place. So you'll see on the screen here that we have all of you, as UU members who have contributed to this strategic plan. We have that mission statement and our vision statement as a congregation that guide everything that we do. The underpinnings are the Universalist and Unitarian Universalist values. And then we have the 3 goals that were born out of all the work that's been done over the last several months. Next slide, Dan. And out of that, we've got our 3 goals. We have our 9 principles. And this is what we're voting on today, so that we can now turn this over to the new board and to the committees so that it can then be fleshed out with the actual actions and tactics that will help animate this plan that you all have put together. So this is what we want to call the vote for today. And I will recommend that we vote on this strategic plan, the goals and priorities. And Chris, hopefully you can then have someone second to vote.
There is a motion on the floor to accept the strategic plan and enable voting for it. Is there a second? Second. Okay, it has been seconded. And with that, we are now going to move to the benediction. Record. That was a record time. Okay.
I invite you to join with me in a moment of coming together and of assuming that we have the power to put our lives to work for our values. that we are not condemned to float along the surface of things. This is our faith. This is our hope, that all people can live together, experience the wonder of creation and the comforts of love, share their feelings, their creative impulses, and their concerns for one another. This is what we practice in our worship and in our congregational life. This is religion, sharing what it means to be human. Go now at peace with yourselves and in love with your neighbors, for this is life. Amen.